Welcome to Retirement Reflections Podcast, coming to you from the library of Canterfield of Kennesaw Independent Living. My name is Lee Martin. I'll be your co-host along with Carol Giusti. Our podcast producer is Patrick Bundrum, who will oversee the entire life cycle of this podcast, which simply means if something goes wrong, it's going to be her fault. And here we are in the library. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
We have a special guest today, Carol, don't we?
Yes, we do. This is my neighbor, Ruth, and I don't know your last name, Ruth. Swanzy. Okay.
What we're going to do today is celebrate you being our neighbor. There are a lot of people around here that are just like everybody else, and you are too, except you have
been around a lot longer.
Yes, been around a lot longer. Would you like to start us off by telling us a little bit about yourself?
I would love to.
Go right ahead.
I was born 101 years ago in Neuville, Texas, and that is southeast Texas. And that was a very small town. One grocery store, one filling station, one red light. One red light. Very small. I lived there until I graduated from high school. But I didn't graduate in Neuville. They only taught through the 5th grade. So when I finished 5th, I rode the bus to a consolidated school, Shelbyville, and that place was a little bit larger. They had many buses that came into that school, and I graduated from there. There were 11 grades at that time.
Population of Neuville in 1925 was 800 people. And I looked it up for today's population, and it's not even on the map. So I don't know if it still exists or not.
I wondered about that.
What did you do after you got out of school?
After I graduated, I went to college in Nacogdoches. I wish you'd check and see.
I'll do that.
I have no idea how big that college is now. But I went even in the summer when I graduated, and I went straight through it, summer, winter, spring, until I graduated. And after that, let's see, World War II was going on, so we didn't have boys. I started saying men. And I graduated in 3 years. And my on-time boyfriend came in from the war when it was over, and we married. And the first thing we wanted to do was go to a big town, big city. So we went to Houston. Houston, okay. Houston, that's where we live. I lived there really until I retired.
Now, did you start teaching in Houston?
I did, but when I first got there, I did not get a school that first year. I don't know whether you have ever heard of anyone being an elevator operator.
Yes, I have.
Have you? Where, the person gets on, I say, what floor would you like?
Oh, okay.
16 to. I did anything that I could find until I found the school. Mark Twain Elementary on Underwood and Braes, right down from the Astrodome. Well, the Astrodome wasn't there then.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I watched that being built.
Did you always want to be a teacher?
Once I started, I knew that was what I wanted to do. My children, all through their life, we had 3 children, 2 girls and a boy, and they're all still living, very successful in their lifetime.
What grade did you teach?
I taught 4th. I was in that same building, in the same room, 27 years.
So you had people that would come and say, you taught my son.
I taught many families, children.
Wow.
I did.
How many grandchildren do you have?
One.
One?
One grandchild.
One.
Okay.
I have two children that have no children.
Oh, okay. Do they live in Texas?
Two live in Texas, one in Denton near Dallas, and one in Longview,
And then one in the Atlanta area?
and one in Kennesaw.
Okay. Let's talk about Kennesaw a little bit in this area here. You've lived at Canterfield.
I've lived at Canterfield 4 years.
Okay. Were you in another senior adult living before that?
I live at Park.
Okay. Are you involved in the activities here?
Yes, am involved. I do the artwork that Patrick and I can do. Since I can't see, I didn't say I'd lost my eyesight and that I have only peripheral vision.
Okay.
That has limited me a lot on what I do.
How long have you had an eyesight problem?
It came on gradually, but I would say 40 years
Oh, really?
before I lost the macular 8 years ago.
A lot of people here take a lot of medicines. I do. I take 11 pills in the morning and 13 pills in the morning and 11 at night, and I'm not even 80 years old. I do. A lot of heart medicine and high blood pressure. Do you take a lot of medicine?
I take a total of 7 pills.
Wow. So why are you more healthy than I am?
Well, I don't know other than I have the genes for being healthy because my mother lived to be 104.
Really? So it's a genetic. Wow.
Well, I think genetic plays a part. The other that I credit it to is being very active in all the exercise.
Right.
I do all the exercises.
You have been my mentor. You've been telling me to get active. And I listen, and I just somehow never get down there and exercise. Consequently, I have bad knees, and I can hardly get up and down without difficulty. And I always look at you, and you just are swinging down that hallway every time I see you. And I know that long-time exercise makes a difference.
I think it does. When I retired and I moved to Longview, there was a family fitness very near me. I could almost walk. I could walk. And I got involved with that family. They had 3 different instructors every week. I enjoyed all 3, and I went always 3 times a week and sometimes more. But I have exercised on a regular basis for 40 years.
Well, that makes you who you are. I'm convinced of that.
And exercised all the time there. When I moved Park, I joined and did everything there I could do.
Well,
and I'm doing it here at Canterfield.
One of the things here that I know helps you be involved in the activities is our activities director, William. He seems to always pull you into something. I remember a couple of years ago for Halloween, he dressed up like a beekeeper, and he had you dressed up like a bumblebee.
That's right.
And then this last year, he was dressed up like Colonel Sanders, and he had you in a chicken costume.
Everybody said I didn't think you would do that.
Why did you?
Because William asked me. And that's what my daughter says. If William asks you to do something, you're going to do it or try to.
Well, we don't lack for activities around here.
No, we do not. We do not.
What about your faith? I know you come to the church services on Sunday. And
I do.
What part has that played in your life over the years?
Many years ago, when I lived in that small town, they had one church. So everybody, the Baptists, the Methodists, everybody took their time to worship there at that church. And I was in Baptist, and I've done that since.
Well, we enjoy you coming. We know that you get a lot out of it. As the preacher, it's always makes my day to see you sitting there. And you're one of the few people that don't go to sleep when I preach. So that's good.
Nobody goes to sleep.
I answer every question.
That's right.
I raise my hand when you tell me to.
If you were to tell your younger self something that you would have done different in your life, is there anything that if you had to do over again, what would you do differently with your life?
I think back, and I was so involved in working and making a living. I feel like I should have spent more time with children,
With your children?
with my children.
Okay.
You know, we heard that from
We
Joe
have.
Pierce, the same thing.
We've heard it from several people, actually, that they wish that they would have taken more time.
I seemed to be very busy all the time. It didn't always involve them, but I was thinking all the way back to retirement years when I checked to see how they figured your retirement.
Mm-hmm.
And it was on your 5 best years. Well, when it got to that point and I checked it out, I thought I need to do this another year. So there I did teaching and I did extended day, which was 2 hours after, and I helped the children that needed help. And I went to the hotline, that's what they called it, at the administration building, and I worked from 6 to 9 helping children that called in. And I did that those 5 years to up my retirement. It's a good thing I did.
Ruth, I'm going to make you feel a little bit better. I worked outside of the home also, but I always made sure that I was home when my children came home. I was really serious about that. So one day my son said, I don't remember you being home. And I sat there and I thought, I have done everything I could to be home when you were home and have cookies or something on the table.
Right.
I remember the cookies, but I don't remember you. So, Ruth, I hope that makes you feel better. That they don't pay any attention sometimes. So don't worry about it. I still remember that remark from my son. Of course, I think he giggled when he left.
Miss Ruth, my grandson is 22, 23 years old. He's in Nashville, Tennessee now. And when he knew we were doing these podcasts, he said, I want you to ask a question of everybody that you can. And the question was this: what would you say to someone who's, in their 20s, just away from home first and starting their life? How would you tell them to make decisions so that they wouldn't have to worry about the what ifs in life? Sometimes when we make a decision, we say, well, but what if that doesn't work? Or what if,
Right.
So what would be your advice for a decision-making process for young adults?
I think back, and I've said so many times, I wished I had the first few years out of college back, and I would make entirely different decisions than I made.
Help us understand that.
Well, I feel like I rushed too much in getting married and not having everything planned and worked out like I would do now.
Right. I think a lot of time, but a young adult, sometimes they don't know what to plan for. One of the themes that we've kind of had in this podcast is that when you're young, that's for fun. And then when you get into your middle age, that's for work. And then when you get old, that's kind of more for God. So that young adult stage is where they're trying to figure out, what do I want to do with my life and how do I do that? And sometimes they get into jobs and things just for the money. And if you're like my wife and I, we were newly married, and the first piece of furniture we bought was a stereo. Not a chair, not a sofa, not a bed, but a stereo. So our priorities were a little bit different, But I know there's a lot of folks that are listening that are asking, how do we learn from people like Ruth Swanzy? We look at you and we think we have a lot to learn from you. You bring a lot to the table, Ruth. You really, really do.
Well,
Ruth is thinking about it right now. You should see the look on her face.
that's right.
She's trying to figure out, what in the world did I bring to the table?
Yeah,
But you know what, Ruth? You reminded me when you were in your 20s and you said that you wish that you had more time to plan things out. I don't know if it's planning things out so much as you didn't have time for yourself. You just hurried through.
It seems like I didn't really plan.
Yeah, you were
I
hurrying.
didn't look at the big picture.
Yes.
Doing things on the spur of the moment.
Yes, right. And
making big decisions, which if I had it to do over, as I say, there are a lot of things I'd do differently.
And I don't know if today's generation really is a whole lot more different than that. I think we all have the same idea, we always ask our children, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yes, right.
And then when we find our young adults, in their late teens and early 20s, I know my granddaughter keeps, she's married. And she keeps talking about, this being an adult is hard.
It is hard. It is hard to be an adult. I have a young granddaughter also that is finishing teaching college, and she has a lot on her plate, and she doesn't have time to plan anything. I mean, she just is hurrying up and getting that education and going on with the rest of her life, and that's probably what you did.
And I'm looking and thinking, I only wish they knew they had more time.
Yes.
I mean, you don't have to rush into something.
That's good advice.
That's one thing about we have time now, Ruth, and I'm enjoying my time. My son was here for 6 days, and he really got the feeling of what it's like to have time. He said, you're really in a good place. He said, you have time to do something that you want to do. And I thought, I'm sitting here like everybody else. I don't know what I want to do. I wonder what William has planned or what Patrick has planned for us today.
I heard about a revival in Norman, Oklahoma, which is not far from where we were living at the time. And the preacher of this big church had an evangelist come in, and he said, we're going to go visit today, and there's a lady down the street I want you to meet. And they went down the street. I don't know how old the lady was, but she was a senior adult. They got there, and she was sitting on the porch and had her Bible in her hand and in a rocking chair. The preacher called out to the lady by name, and he said to her, how are you doing today? And she said, oh, I'm just sitting here rocking Jesus. Had her Bible, and she was just, she wasn't rushed around doing something. She had reached that stage in her life to where she realized that now I can slow down, and I'm just sitting here thinking about how God has blessed me. And I'm sure you're the same way, Ruth. You can probably think of a lot of blessings that God has given you.
I really can. And one of the big things I think about is how the kids located this place, Canterville. I mean, we really were not out looking for a place for me to move to at the time. It was on a Sunday afternoon, and we stopped. I remember Stephen, that used to work here, I guess they sent him over. Somebody's here and wants to see. And I think, my gosh, how blessed I was that they stopped here. We found this place. I have enjoyed it so much.
How much did they pay you to say that, Ruth? I'm just kidding.
I didn't get paid to say it. I say it all the time to everybody.
This is a wonderful place. We all enjoy it. We really do.
It is.
Well, your time is valuable, and so is ours, and we're limited. We're not limited, but we limit ourselves. But I do want to ask Patrick a question, so that you kind of get an idea here. Up to how many listeners are we now? Do you know? But, we've got a lot of folks that are listening to this. As a matter of fact, on the podcast app, they can now put in fan mail, where they can actually text us and say, we listen to this, But Patrick just said 248. So almost 250 people have listened to this. That's half the number of people that was in your college when you went to school. So in this day and age, but we love you, Ruth. We want you to know that. You are very loved.
I just felt like when they asked me, I thought, I am so old. Everything I know is so
So
long
old.
ago, and nobody is going to listen to anything I have to say.
Oh, but I think
Ruth,
that's,
I
you
know
don't
I
realize
know
that.
what you mean. You kind of think. I have heard. We went to the memorial Saturday for what, Chris?
Chris.
And I sat there and listened to all of his accomplishments, and it made you sit there and think, what have I done? But then again, I'm an ordinary person, and there's nothing wrong with that.
So many people have done so much more, accomplished so much more, and they have a lot to offer. I just felt like I didn't have anything that would be very interesting to anybody.
Ruth, my mother had a saying, and I would bring boyfriends in to meet her, and she would never say much. She would be nice and smile at them. But when I brought my husband in, she brought me into the kitchen and she said, he's an ordinary person. I like him. And so for her, an ordinary person was the highest compliment that you could give and is an accomplishment.
Before we go, your birthday is the 24th of August, correct?
It is.
And I think this episode will be published, that's not the word, next Monday, which is...
My birthday.
Let's sing happy birthday to her now so that next week
You can sing happy
I can
birthday.
sing happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Miss Ruth. Happy birthday to you.
I sit here and think about doing that at my son's second birthday.
Uh-huh.
And he was, oh, happy birthday to me, you know. And I kid him about it now. I said,
Yeah.
You started early in life.
Isn't it funny
And
how you
here
remember?
You're still celebrating.
Yeah.
Ruth, thank you for coming in and sharing with us today. We're going to close this down by just simply saying goodbye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Hey there, producer Patrick Bundrum here. We now have a new exciting feature where you can send fan mail on our website. Access the message board on Buzzsprout by clicking the fan mail link on any episode. We appreciate your continued support and will be back next week. As always, Retirement Reflections does not claim to give any advice, and the personal beliefs of hosts and guests do not necessarily reflect the Canterfield community official policies. Thank you again for joining us.